Welcome to the Salon Leaders podcast. I am Christine Zielinski, and joining me today are my incredible co-hosts, Tina Black and Nuala Gilday. Um, our our role is that we help and show beauty professionals who are, this is so good because we help people to stop surviving and start leading. And I don't know about you, Tina and Nuala, but
Yeah.
that is really what I see a lot out there is people surviving.
Yeah. I don't want to survive. I want to thrive, right?
Mhm.
So that's why we're here. And I'm so excited that we're fine. The gang's all back together. And so we're so excited that you guys are joining us live or listening to this recording as well, too. It's been a long time coming. So can't wait to share the content with everybody.
Yeah, great. I'm super excited to be here. And I love that what you just said there, Christine, because, just recently I was talking to an owner and they're like, I just hate going into my business.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's a tough place to be. So let's go.
Yeah, it's so true. So today we are kicking off module one, and module one for us is the foundation of everything. So we're talking about awareness. And I think, to be honest with you, most people will always overlook this. And this is the really this pinnacle piece. It's like the pillars of every single thing that we do. It's the thing that pretty much changes everything. So the what I want to really start today is to share something that Empowered Salon Leaders has put together for you to see, and that is our leadership wheel. And I really want to talk about leadership is not a process, but it's a destination. And Tina, you always say this, like you always say this.
Yeah.
And I think people can really I think I'll use what Nuala says is a lot of people are in the weeds, right? They're not really seeing things. They're kind of stuck in things. So if you look at this leadership wheel, I'm going to go around these 8 areas: awareness, growth, vision, values, communication, influence, empowerment, contribution, and money. So for us, these are all the most important parts of leadership. And the way you can use this wheel, what we're going to do is we teach this in our membership. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this below the channel in the description so that you could download it. And what I would do is I would go into each specific area and rate yourself. And we're going to talk a little bit deeper about this, but I would rate yourself from 0. So if you think about the center being 0, and then the area that you get closer to awareness, let's say, that would be you give yourself a 10. So that would be good. Closer to the bullseye is the least, right? So you can just grade yourself on each of these areas.
Yeah.
And because the only one person that's misleading, if it's not, who is it, right? If we're not leading and if we're misleading, right? That's what we're doing. So take it away,
Yeah,
Tina.
so good. And I love that. When I assess myself, I love doing self-assessments too. And I love that it gives you the whole picture. And so I'll grade myself, at 0 to 3 if I'm really suffering in the area. And then like 4 to 7 if I'm struggling. And then 7 to 10 if I'm thriving. Right. So just kind of self-assess yourself. And like Christine said, it's so important to be honest with yourself
Yeah.
too, right? Be honest. And so you might think like I'm a 10 in communication. I just said you might think, and then you're a 3 in money. But the problem is that gap is what's costing your business right now. So like when Nuala said, that her friend is just not happy being at work, most likely she's really struggling in a few of these areas.
Mm.
And so Nuala is going to talk about the 5 stages of an empowered leader.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the 5 stages of an empowered leader. Thank you, Tina, for that. And awareness and growth is number one. And I remember that when it was, just becoming aware of what I didn't know was so important. And stage 5, you get to that money and legacy piece, but in between that, you have other, contribution, communication. There's all these different levels that you need to work through in order for you to kind of get this wheel going. Like, when we're going to go into that a little bit deeper. Thank you, Tina.
Yeah, I want to share a moment that I had because early in my career, I mean, it's been 20 plus years. I'm at the 20 plus now, right? So early in my career, I really thought I was leading, and I thought leading meant I had to have all the answers, right? And not only that was I was an authoritative leader, and that wasn't good, right? And so everything had to go through me. I had to make all the decisions. I created this dependency on my team, and it wasn't good, right? And so if I were looking at that leadership wheel at that time, my empowerment score, so empowerment is a nice word for delegation. Like we like to use the word empowerment. It sounds a lot better as a leader, right? It would have been probably a 2. And it came to the realization, and we're all John Maxwell coaches. We all, certified in the Maxwell leadership team, and thank God, right? So, because right after I certified in 2013, and it was like 150 of us went to Guatemala, and we taught a course, Transformation Begins in Me. And honestly, when I taught that course, I was the one who was transformed. And it was that moment on that I realized that I need to be a better empowering leader. And so I have to tell you that that's where the transformation began for me. I know you both had similar transformations after joining the team as well too, but I wouldn't be where I am today with 5 schools, 4 salons, 4 coaching companies and speaking companies if it wasn't for empowering people and helping people to move into their strengths. And so my takeaway, all of you watching, if your team can't function without you, and I'm telling you, I was there, I get it, and I coach a lot of salon owners that the team cannot function without them. That's not a team problem. That is a leadership problem, right? And it all starts just what we're talking about with awareness.
Tina, I just want to touch base with you for 1 second, because I think sometimes people watching right now may be thinking we have it all together.
Oh.
And I just wanted to mention this because there could be some days or months that go by that your business functions at a 10 and you feel like everything's going well. And then all of a sudden, through the cracks, you are finding problems or, these things that are arising that you thought were okay that now you're dealing with. And so when we say leadership is a constant, wheel and it's always turning, and these things are the things you always have to be putting together. It's not like, I just want to clarify that, right, Tina and Nuala? Like, it's not like the wheel goes together and now you're a great leader and you just set it and forget it. This is a constant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that song, The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round.
It's
Sing it to my
kind of like your
grandchildren.
life wheel. If you think about it, your life wheel is like, you're always working on something.
Always. You never graduate from this stuff. And, I wish I could. You never become a master. It's just, again, it's about awareness and really, really growing that awareness muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. And for me, when you're explaining that, Christine, it's like, the flywheel, so you need vision, and then you need your growth, and you need to have values in order to have growth. So it all kind of intricately works with each other. And sometimes things go off kilter, like in any sort of life, and so it's really important for me. And my wake up call definitely came around vision. And when we brought this together, I really kind of went back to the beginning of my business. I would have given myself an 8 on vision. I thought I had crystal clear clarity. I thought I knew what I wanted. Meaning my logo. We spent hours on my logo. We spent hours on a font. We spent, perfect Pinterest board. Aesthetically, everything was pleasing. I really thought that that was vision. My wake up call came around when I realized that my team couldn't articulate that. And I thought through osmosis that they would get what I wanted. And I didn't realize vision was something that really compelled you to move forward when something was really, really crystal clear. And that my vision was the roadmap for my purpose and the business's goals. And without that vision, we didn't know what we were hitting. I didn't realize that that was all connected, And what I know for sure now is that it's the most important time you spend on your vision. I know that now. I didn't know that at the time. I thought the most important thing that I spent on was like, making sure that all my products were perfectly aligned and everything was dust free and clean for you. But I didn't realize that, I thought my team were following me and they weren't, I had clients, I was busy, my vision wasn't, I hadn't got a crystal clear vision. And I definitely couldn't have answered it clear because I couldn't articulate what it was that I wanted out of my business. And I definitely know that my team felt that. And for me, like the picture of where I was going was clear in my head and maybe not my business partner's head, but it was clear in my head, but it wasn't written down. And, honestly, my vision when I look now, it was definitely a 2 because I couldn't articulate it at all. And then at the end of the day, we're building these businesses for the life that we want. And I didn't spend that time. And now I'd spend more time on that vision because you're trading your life for this business. And we think we're building one that we love and we end up feeling trapped in it. And for me, that's when everything started to change for me, when I realized that I had to stop focusing on surviving week to week and start thinking about what am I really, really, truly building here? And then my question, kind of a takeaway, is when was the last time you slowed down long enough to reconnect to your vision? I like to say, go back into the dream room, remember why you started your business. And Tina brought something up last week, which I think was perfect. And, talking about a reset, like resetting, it's okay. You don't have to wait till the end of the year. And, if nothing changes over the next year, would you be fulfilled living the way you are right now? So take the time, pause. We're coming into summertime. It's nice to kind of, get back and fall in love with your business.
Yeah, I love that, Nuala. You always say that, fall in love with your business, and it's so true. So mine was my awareness had to come around money, but I just want to reframe what I said before. My awareness is every day. I have a new awareness right now that isn't money, but I remember my beginning stages. The big one for me was money. And I was so frustrated that I couldn't grow my numbers. Like I just couldn't grow my numbers. And I would just plateau and plateau and plateau. And I remember going through a lot of financial literacy training and understanding cash flow and understanding and running your business by your numbers and all of that. And then realizing that it was important for me to one, look at my numbers. I mean, that was a plus, and it was important to know my numbers. But now what I realize even more is how the numbers are affecting the people that are within your company, because there's numbers that we need to be profitable and there's numbers, of course, that we need to grow, but each person in our company is contributing to the money, right? And if we're not leading people in the right way, then and John talks about this, John Maxwell talks about this, is we're dream makers. So we're helping them to achieve their dreams, right? And so that's where the money is coming from, because we're dream makers. And so, I think that a lot of salon owners are afraid about money, but if you really think about the process of where does profit come from and where does money come from? It really comes from fulfilling people's dreams. So aren't we that passionate that we got into be salon owners to help other people? So, that's where the money's going to come from. But my takeaway is avoidance is not a strategy. Awareness is. And that's where we start. We start here. Um, and I don't know about you guys, but now that I know about awareness and I'm very, very strongly aware of it, whenever something happens in my company, the first thing I go to is that person aware of what's happening? Are they
Yeah.
aware of their behavior and how their behavior is affecting? Are they aware of what they're saying is affecting other people? Are they aware? And most likely it's probably no, unfortunately. So, so I want to take this question from module 1 that we ask every single leader that we work with. So you ready? Are your team following you because they have to or because they want to?
Goodness gracious, when you ask that question, that's like, whoa. I'm hoping majority of them because they want to, but I think some of them because they have to as well. So I think it's that cyclical nature as well. And I remember when I learned from John Maxwell that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And I thought, oh, come on, John. And then my other mentor, who's my business partner, when Kleba, he really pushed us towards becoming inspirational and motivational and allowing your team to see a side of you of how much you care about them, which goes back to exactly what you're saying, Christine. Once I realized, and I finally had a team member, would you believe it? He put it on my name tag. He had it made Tina Black Dream Maker. And I thought, oh, thank you, Lord, because it just took so long. Because I thought I had, again, going back to I was that authoritative leader. I thought I just had to dictate and tell people what to do. I didn't know. It's like, oh no, I can actually care about people and care about their livelihood and care about their dreams and just doing wheels like this and assessments and helping them to grow and helping myself to grow. That changed everything, right? And so I know that those of you that are watching I just want you to think about it. Do people follow you because they have to or because they want to? And it's something I'm always, always working on. Always. It never stops.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Tina, yeah, you can definitely feel it in the salon. Like I kind of thinking of this, and it's like I remember thinking at some stage, why does everything feel so heavy, right? You know, so you're kind of carrying it all, and the energy feels different, the team feels different, clients feel different. And then when you start switching around, because nobody tells you when you start this industry and you start opening a salon and a business, that you just wake up one morning and you're no longer doing hair, you're managing emotions, you're trying to motivate your team, having difficult conversations, as Christine talked about, money, making financial decisions and carrying the emotional weight of the business. But when you get better, the business gets better, right? When you start being more effective in your leadership, the work gets better, retention goes up, everything changes. It's like a magic potion in the business.
Mm. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're not sure which one it is, like what does your team do they want to follow you or are they following you because they have to? Um,
Yeah.
Awareness is probably the thing that you want to work on is, I don't know what they're doing. And I think it fluctuates for me. I do think it fluctuates. I always see my team always wants me in the salon more. So I always joke around and say, well, I guess they like me. They really want me to be there more because if I was a terrible boss, they'd want nothing to do with me. So they really like what happens when I'm in there. So I used to get so frustrated because I'm like, oh, why do they always want me in there? But now I feel like, oh, they always want me in there. Like it's such a nice thing. But it's not I don't think it's that everything falls apart. when I'm not there, I just think that we as leaders too bring an awareness and an energy. Like we're bringing all of this within our company and people see that, they feel that, and it is energizing for our teams. So we have to remember that too.
Yeah. Yeah. First step in leadership is awareness. And, I liked another word for that might be what is your blind spots?
Mm.
Ooh.
Right.
That's a
Yeah.
whole other great conversation to
Yeah.
have.
What's your blind spots? Are you really aware? And so kind of running through this, and we want to help you through this, of course, in the Leaders Lab to do it. And so do the work. I like to call it home play. So your home play between now and the next time when we jump on live here is rate yourself. So like Christine said, we're going to put this in the show notes so that you can see it, you can download it. Rate yourself 0 to 10. There's 8 categories, right? But again, be honest with yourself, right? And then pick a strength, right? Pick a strength because we want you to build momentum in that area of strength. And then just put maybe 2 weak areas that you have that beyond a shadow of doubt that you need to grow in those 2 areas. You're going to know what they are and then just get to work working on that. So that's our challenge to ourselves and to all of you on the call today.
And if you want to go challenge up a little bit more, get somebody else to grade you. Get somebody
Yeah.
else to grade you on this. And I remember when I did that, I didn't believe them.
Yeah.
So it is interesting how others see you too, somebody that you know, like, and trust. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And remember, everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything.
Everything.
Everything. So we will see you next week live, and we will yeah, we look forward to connecting with you. So
Yeah, it's great to connect, ladies.
yeah, so good to be here with y'all.
Have a great night.